Some settings to sort out as usual. Oh dear. Doesn't even live here. Does now. Don't you? Manky creature. Sort of call you, isn't it? Manky. Manky looking thing. But he obviously thinks this is cat nirvana, like all the others. So he's decided to stay. Oh yeah. He's an old boy. So he's a stray. He's probably had a bit of a hard life. But he's got a lovely nature. He says as he takes my arm off. So, you know, how can you turn them away? People and animals, dear, dear. That's probably one thing that I do find a bit upsetting at times. And it's a different culture. It's just that simple. And before I make this statement, I'm not saying all Russians, okay? Just some. And if you're a Russian and you get offended by this statement, then you're probably one of the people with the problem. So, very quickly, before I move on to today's topic, which is tax. The way some Russians treat animals, namely dogs, disturbs me. I come from a culture where a dog is part of your family. It's not, I mean, not strictly true. It's part of your family, but also we have working dogs. So we have sheep dogs, guard dogs, you know, security dogs, etc., etc. And there's a, you know, there's a line between the two, clearly. I don't know, don't seem to have that here. People will get a dog and it will just spend its entire life chained up in the garden. They don't take it for a walk, put food out for it, and consequently the poor animal is just tied to the house or tied to a post and barks because it's scared, it's frightened. You know, we all know dogs are quite social things. They like to have interaction, and that unfortunately is too common for me. I don't think that's the way to treat an animal. If you want an animal for security, if you want a dog for security, apologies about the wind, I'll try and get out of it. And this is the bugbear, you know, they just buy any old dog, tie it up, bark, 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 bark. That's not security. Much like a car alarm going off all the time isn't security. Because nobody takes a blind bit of notice of it because it goes off all the time. And it's the same with a dog that barks all the time. What use is that as security? None. Because as soon as it barks, you ignore it, which is exactly what these owners do. They just ignore the thing, so it barks. So that's my bugbear. If you want an animal for security, train it. If you want it to live in the garden, and I don't have a problem with that, but at least give it a bit of exercise. Maybe take it for a walk. Don't know. But certainly let it off the lead and let it run around for a bit. Play with it, you know, give it a life. But most importantly, train it. Because it should only be barking when there's an intruder. Not just for the sake of barking. You know, it hears the wind blowing, so it's going to bark. So that's a bugbear of mine here in Russia. And like I say, I'm not tarnishing every Russian with that brush. Definitely not. Vast majority of people here absolutely love animals. And I'm not really even suggesting that the people that tie it up in the garden don't love it. They just love it probably in a different way. It's just a, you know, it's just a dog, isn't it? You know, it's probably that attitude. I don't know. But it does upset me to see an animal that is just tied on a piece of rope that might have 6 foot of length, and maybe, if it's lucky, a little house that's been built for it. And I know there's one in our village, one particular one that distresses me, and it's got a little house built right at the front of the property where the drive is, and the piece of rope is the width of the drive that this animal lives on. So summer, winter, spring, autumn, it doesn't matter what the seasons, this animal is tied to this little house, this tiny little house that's been cobbled together out of a pallet probably. And its entire day is just sat there watching anything walk past, which isn't very often, and if anything goes near the drive, it barks. Well, yeah, that's not a life for an animal, and if that's the life you want to give an animal, then don't take the animal. Don't give it that life, because it's better off as a stray, much better off as a stray. You know, what you're actually doing to an animal when you tie it to a piece of string is stripping it of a life. I'm going on a rant, and I didn't think I was going to, but it does piss me off, I've got to be honest. It does bug me. Anyhow, that's my little bug. Like I say, if you're Russian and you take offence to that, maybe this is something that you do or have done in the past. Let's just get rid of you because you're a clown. And, you know, if you may not agree with it, you know, it's a culture, and I understand the reason behind it primarily comes from, you know, yesteryear where it was done for security. But nowadays, there's no need for it. Russia is not what it was 20 years ago. There is no need for that. There's no need to just have a dog and tie it on a piece of string next to your gate. Train the thing. If there's a bare minimum, if you're going to have a dog's security, train it. Spend a bit of time. They're easy to train, any dog is. You know, you can even get, whether you agree with them or not, you can get these collars, can't you, when they bark and they zap them. You know, there's a million things that you can do, I'm sure. But anyhow, that's my little rant. Went on one, didn't I? Didn't think I was going to. What I actually want to talk to you about is, well, a couple of things really. One is tax. Ugh, that horrible word. And yeah, we've just got our bill in. So we've got, some of you may know, we've got 2 properties here. And here in Russia, you pay property tax, which consists of the land. You pay tax for the land, and then there's a separate tax for the property. So when you've got 2 properties, you've got 2 lots of land tax, 2 lots of property tax. And then on top of that, you've got car tax. And they all 5 of those turn up in the Mrs. Gossaslugi account at the same time. So all of a sudden, you've got to pay car tax, land tax times 2 if you've got 2 houses, and property tax times 2 if you've got 2 houses. Yeah. Oh, I've been making stuff, look. So this is a bit of a wind tunnel through here, straight to the pool, and I wanted to do something with it, and I've got half a plan to put a gate across here. But this is going to be, once it's finished and I've painted it all and blah blah blah, then there'll be some trellis type stuff going up there, probably let plants crawl all over it so it'll look a bit more natural. Garden's a pigsty at the moment. Cats are being idiots. And we got the same down what we call Junkyard Corner. So cobbled together a bit there, and the same here. So again, this will have some sort of probably wooden trellis on it, you know, somewhere for the plants to go, and it'll give a bit of shelter to got a Japanese maple if it survived, and they don't like wind. And oh dear, yeah, it doesn't look very healthy. Look at it, it's been battered and bruised. So hopefully we can revive it and sort of cover up the junkyard corner a bit. Yeah, it's a work in progress. Some of you might be wondering, well, if you've got a house for sale, why on earth are you spending money on it? Well, I spent $250,000 out the front the other week doing the drainage. But if you live here, or if you live in a house, you're going to do stuff to it, aren't you? Even if it's for sale. Well, I would guess so. Anyhow, tax. I'm avoiding the subject, aren't I? Let's get back. So the missus has informed me this morning that we've got all of the tax rocked up on Gosselslugie. Now, first and foremost, this is tax in arrears. So the land tax, property tax, car tax is for last year. So it's not like a lot of stuff where you have to pay it in advance. You pay it in arrears, which I suppose is quite nice, isn't it? Quite fair. But we start with the car tax because, you know, I think that's quite an eye-opener, especially if you're in the UK. Now, we've got rather large 4x4, 7-seat. It's only got a 2-litre engine, but it's 220 something horsepower. I can't remember how they do it in the UK, whether it's on horsepower or engine size or whatever. But I do know that it ain't this cheap. So the car tax for this year is about £30, 30. Can live with that. Don't mind that. Quite happy to pay that instantly. But the land tax for both houses, 2 properties, yeah, that's about £35. Sorry, correction, that isn't the land tax. That's the land tax and house tax for both houses. So 4 lots of tax, effectively. £35 for all 4. Yep. For the year. Not a month, not a week, not a day. A year. So 5 lots of tax, and I'm just breaking this down because I know a lot of you will be sitting there going, what? So 5 lots of tax, including a tax for the vehicle for a year, land tax times 2 for the year, and property tax times 2 is about £65. Yep. And I get asked, why Russia? And that ain't the reason, funnily enough. That's just another one to add to the book. £65. What do you pay in the UK? Council tax. What's that? £200 a month? So it's £2.5 straight away. Then your car. What's that going to cost you? If you're driving a Range Rover like I was, a lot of money now. It's insane. No, it's not insane. It's all to scale, I suppose. When you factor in the cost of living and you factor in people's wages, etc., etc. But nevertheless, even if you factor in people's wages, that is still ridiculously cheap. Why is that? You tell me. Coming from the West, it just feels like robbery. It just feels like we're being raped constantly. So yeah, have we paid it? Yeah, because when you get tax bills like that, you absolutely have no problem paying them, do you? You know, when you get tax bills that are thousands, you try and stretch it out as long as you can. But that's the other thing. So we've got the bills, which are up until, so it's the current or previous year. And we've got till the end of this year to pay them. Bearing in mind it's September. So we've still got another 3 months yet to pay it. even know what to say, really. There we go. Anyhow, let's say hello before I go off on another rant about something. Dear. Danon, hello, hello. As soon as somebody says you look like, I just go, ignore. Siddharth Gupta, hi. Ranit Sarkar said hi. Jeff. Oh yeah. Can't be bothered to listen to you. In fact, let's just get rid of you, because you know straight away that somebody is just going to be a dick. Oh, love that. Siddharth Gupta. Now, this is the sort of thing I like. I like somebody that's asking a question that's relative, because wherever you are in the world right now, I'm in southern Russia. Now, whether you know about Russia, whether you know about the current situation, whether you have no clue, whether you hate it, whether you believe you know everything about it, whatever your slant, you have a golden opportunity right now to ask a bloke that stood in Russia in his back garden a question, live. And I will be a bit behind the chat because I waffle a bit, but I will get to your question as long as it's not insulting or rude, because that just gets deleted. But anyway, I'm waffling already, so let's get back to Mr. Gupta. If you had to give out a single line of advice, something that sums up the experiences that you've lived through, what would it be? Move to Russia. Well, I'm going to be called a propagandist and everything that I've heard 1,000 times before. It's water off a duck's back, to be honest. But that's my advice. Why? Well, why not? It's 2/3 of the way through September. It's 25 degrees. My swimming pool has lost a lot of temperature, so it feels like it's ice at the moment, but that's 23.6 degrees. That'll be back up to 25, 26 degrees by the end of the week, because the weather's good now. And we've had a couple of days of rain. Well, no, we haven't. We had one day of rain, and then another day where it thought about raining. That kind of happens from once or twice a year here, bearing in mind it's 300 days a year of sunshine. And yeah, my advice, move to Russia, is based on what I've just titled this live stream about: tax, cost of living, fairness, sincerity, the people here. Yeah, that's my advice. If you want something more specific, ask a more specific question, of course. But yeah, if you want general advice, that's it. Move to Russia, because at the moment the West seems to be hell-bent on suicide, and that don't make any sense to me. Well, it does if you're a globalist. Makes a lot of sense, because they don't live in the world that we do. But yeah, for general people, no. Skifzakon, do you speak Russian? No, niet. Zane Wu said hi. Oh, the message is deleted because he was a clown. Zane Wu, do you like KFC? Yeah, take it or leave it. Hey, from Glasgow, hi. Yes, indeed. Clara, no idea what you mean. Don't really care. It's rude, isn't it? Crikey. Mr. Brennan, property tax and income tax is theft. Well, Income tax out here is 13%, 15% if you're a higher rate earner. Yeah, 15, not 50. And if you're an entrepreneur stroke self-employed, it's 6%. So in comparison, yes. But when the tax is fair and you get value for money, or you get something for it, or you can see where it's going, I think you don't mind paying it. I certainly don't. But when it's just absolute robbery, because they've gone 1 year where your car tax is 300 quid and the following year it's 3 grand because they've just decided to change the categories, that's theft. There is no two ways about it, because your car's not doing anything that this year that it wasn't doing last year. So it's just theft. So I get that. But there we go. Are you staying in Russia? James McCallan. Hell yeah. Yeah, but you get to be in the UK. Lucky you. Lucius. Hello from a Russian out of Toronto, Canada. Don't even get me started on Canadian tax. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Canadian tax. I can just tell you about UK tax, and it's just absolutely. I think UK is the most taxed nation in the world. I think that's right. It's only going up as well. Oh, got gas and electric bill in as well. It's all come today, all at once. Yeah. Gas bill. Anybody want to know what the gas bill is? Have a guess. Have a guess on my gas and electricity bill for a month. Adventure Nomad, sign me up. Location, location, location. Quite happy with my location, mate. Hello, Iman. Can you have a shout out? Just did it. Mr. Brennan. And what is the UK getting out of that tax? Oh, yeah, there you go. Blimey. What's that? An English accent for a Russian. Okay. Lewis. Careful, Lewis. Sailing close to the wind. Can I see your view? There you go. Had a very dry summer, so the grass took a right beating this year. But, yeah, if you want to see my view, I'll have to go upstairs onto the balcony. Is that the kind of view you mean? And it's going to be windy. There's our view. There you go. Bit doom and overcast for us, and windy, apologies. I'll get back out the wind. I know how unpleasant that can be. I've got a video uploading tomorrow that you probably should watch. Uploading about 2 o'clock Moscow time tomorrow afternoon. Have a look at that. Lewis. Gone. Yeah, just doing a bit of housekeeping. Waxter, hi. Phil, in it. Waxter, bro, what are you doing now? Come to Salvador. I'll take good care of you. Mate, I don't need to come to El Salvador. I'm really happy here. Zeus Bloodline. P2, no idea what you're saying. Mike Evans. Mike Evans? I know Mike Evans. That's not the Mike Evans, is it? There you go. Get that all the time. Supporting Russia, NATO is threatening Russia's sovereignty. Yeah, been doing that for years, isn't it? Matthew B, why did you choose Russia? Good question. I always say why not now, because that's the really short and quick answer. Why not? But that's just being pedantic. I know people are going to question that given the current situation. I came here before the current situation on holiday and fell in love with the country and the people and the culture and the weather and the food and everything else. And yeah, moved here during the current situation. So that shows two things, I think. One, just how good this place is. And two, what an absolute load of BS you hear in the Western media. Because who in their right mind would move to what effectively is described by the Western media as an active war zone? Because that's where I am. I'm 50 miles from Crimea. I'm on the coast of the Black Sea, just outside a seaside resort town called Anapa. And we're about 5 kilometres away from Turkstream. Sure, you've all heard of Turkstream. It's the thing that the Ukrainians keep trying to blow up without much success. No success, actually. On their little droney things sort of crash in the sea. But yeah, you know, if you believe the Western media, God almighty, why would you move to Russia? Well, the simple fact is I'd been here before, so I knew that all the media stuff that came out was a pack of lies, because I'd already seen it. I'd already seen the Russian people and met them. I'd experienced the culture and everything else that goes with it. So it's, you know, it was a no-brainer, the fact that they were saying, oh, risk of death, do not move, do not go there, you will die, you'll be sent to the front and all that. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. So I didn't take any notice of that. Did I think about moving to an active war zone? Nope. Because I've got as much chance of being hit by something flying through the air as I have by lightning. And I don't step out of my house worrying about lightning. So, yeah, that's why Russia, mate. Because it's lovely. Can you come play in my pool? No. Waxed, an English bloke. Duh. Have I visited Siberia yet? No. I haven't even visited our region. Mate, Russia is so vast. It is just... I say this every live stream because people ask, but if you're in the UK and you want to get a rough idea of Russia, size-wise, let's take like a kind of loose statistic, but Russia is 66 times the size of the UK. England can fit into my region. So to put that in kind of layman's terms, a region out here, or an oblast, is the same kind of thing as an English county. So where you got East Sussex, West Sussex, Surrey, Suffolk, Norfolk, you know, all of that kind of stuff. All the counties throughout the UK, Russia has regions. Let's call them counties just for ease. So my county that I live in here is a county called Krasnodarsky Krai. It's 76,000 square kilometres. You can drive easily all day in this region and never leave it. And I've done that. So, no, I haven't been outside our region yet, other than going to Moscow, where we flew in to the airport in Moscow and then got the train. But that took 30 hours on a train, 36 hours, something like that, on a train from Moscow down to here. This place is biblically huge, largest country in the world, which is very easy to say, it rolls off the tongue, and it's difficult for people to wrap their head around how big it is, and you never will until you come here. You'll never understand it. You never ever, no matter how many times you talk about the distance, it will not make any sense until you come here. But if you live on the south coast in England and you wanted to drive to the north coast of Scotland, that will be the same as me driving from the top of our region to the bottom of our region. In fact, no, it won't. It'll be about half the distance, actually, because it's a lot further than that. It's a big region. It's a big region. Okay. Mike Evans, I'd rather live in Russia than here in the UK. Exhibit A. Favourite new Russian food? Toxic Hazard. Hi, nice to see you. Favourite new Russian food? I don't know. Russia is... It reminds me of Germany in some aspects, because my dad used to live in Germany and I used to go out there, and you go into a delicatessen in Germany and they had all these different types of smoked meats, you know, cooked meats, and hams and, you know, sausage and all of that kind of stuff. And it's the same here. Got a vast selection, and because we're in a village, we've got lots and lots of little local small shops, loads and loads and loads of them. And again, the same thing, you know, you find all sorts of just locally produced food, and it's and the wife picked something up yesterday from a new shop that's opened up in the village, and it's like pressed chicken, so it's, you know, it's chicken pushed, you know, made into a sausage, big fat sausage, and it's smoked, and it's naturally smoked. It's not done with chemicals or anything. It's naturally smoked over a wood fire, and it's just freaking lovely. I had some this morning. It's like, oh my god. So probably that. But I do like a bit of Russian salad. I do like the wife's lizard's brain soup. That's nice. Not a fan of herring in a fur coat. It's all right as a side dish, but I'm not really that keen on these things. Fishes, all right, but yeah, I haven't absorbed the Russian culture for fish, not yet, of which it is significant. There's a lot of smoked fish, dried fish. It's pretty much the pastime if you go to Albania, is taking some dried fish, and I haven't absorbed that yet. Badger Man. Dos Vidania. A Boris supporter. Tyson. Need to check yourself there, mate. Akshat. Hello. UK's been lost to Islam, has it? Okay. Kusman, greetings. Did I miss much? No, mate. No, you know me. I'm a long way behind the chat, as always. Waxter, no. Are there much homeless beggars, to be honest? Phil, no, none. Being honest. Being brutally honest, mate, no. Nope. Occasionally you might see a very, very old lady, you know, 80s, 90s, that's probably living in poverty. But I am talking, it's so rare, it's really not worth mentioning, other than, you know, occasionally you might see that. And by occasionally, I don't know, once every couple of months somewhere, if we go to a Napa, or, you know, you might see an old lady with her hand out outside a shop, but next to never. So no, it's not a thing out here. Mike Evans, £2. Thanks, Mike. Not showing up on my screen, but I appreciate that. Elijah, Mike Evans is trying to get people to sign up for memberships. Is he now? Oh, that's not very nice, is it, Mike? Mike, you, with that comment, you can go. Nelly, thumbs up, Nelly, look. How you doing? That's Russia, question mark? That is, statement. Yeah, Elijah, he's gone. Ian Cutler, hey, I've been watching your videos a lot and I'm thinking of moving to Russia. What advice can you give me? Best advice I can give you, Ian, is if that's a genuine statement, join my Telegram group and you can ask me anything you like, and obviously all the members in the group, of which there are people from all around the world and a lot of Russians. So literally any question. What country you're coming from? If it's the UK, then I've done 3 videos on my channel detailing the process for applying for TRP. But yeah, that's the advice I'll give you, mate. Join the Telegram group, and we can have a a text back and forwards, a video call, whatever you want. Whatever you want. I love people to ask questions, so yeah, more than happy to help. Love from India. Hi, Sharma. Ishan Sharma, sorry. Nonny, is that short for nonce? Dos Vidania. JM74. JM74. Retracted his message. Right, Synord. So what's your plan if we end up with a large-scale European war? Will you stay and fight for the Russians? I'm going to visit Russia for a while, but it does worry me. Okay, well, I don't fight for anybody. Okay? Least of all for a flag or propaganda. I fight for a home, and I fight for family. That's it. Draw the line at everything else. Because there's too much bullshit in this world. But yes, I will fight for my home, and yes, I will fight for my family. My home and my family are here. So, yeah. But as for a plan, stay here. Ronnie, first time on your live, what country are you in? Russia, mate. Southern Russia. That's cool. Oh, that's good because I caught up with the chat. Yes, like I say, if you've got any questions about Russia, if there's stuff you want to know, cost of living. Has anybody guessed my gas bill yet? Come on. What's my gas bill for the month? And my electricity bill, because we just had it in. Told you about the taxes. You know all about them now. Yeah, join the Telegram group. There's lots and lots of good people on there. And if you've got some queries, some questions, if you're just curious, if you don't necessarily believe the narrative that's been pushed towards you, maybe you do, and you just want to sense check it, join the Telegram group and ask. There's some good people in there who give you some good answers, genuine answers. There's a lot of banter as well, obviously, but we don't mind that as long as it stays respectful. That's the only rule in the Telegram group. Be respectful. That's it. Very simple. It's not a dictatorship. But no, as long as you're respectful. Yeah. Need to chop these trees down soon. Or chop them back anyway. Peach tree and the apricots and the cherries. That's come back to life. I don't know how. Because it was like that, dead. Well, I do know how. It's Russia. They come back to life. So it might give us some fruit next year. Amazing. That thing survives. I don't know how, but it does. Anyhow. Nico Vlad. What happens when your country like Australia sells out your home to fund another country like pleasing China? Hey, you've come up with a question. You should know the answer. Nikki, you've got a gay name, haven't you? Synord. Oh dear. Synord, please don't tell me your gas bill is less than £50 per month, while my gas and electric is nearly £200 a month. I'll just read a few more comments and then I might break your heart. Si, are you near Moscow? Ronnie, no I'm not. I'm in the south of Russia actually. If you stick into your Google Maps, Anapa, A-N-A-P-A, and you'll see where we are. We're on the coast of the Black Sea, about 50 miles from Crimea. So as I said, according to Western media, I'm in a war zone, dodging bullets and missiles. But Moscow, about 1,600 kilometres from us. Nico, $1 million for a 4-bedroom house, £1,000 a week in rent, or 600 plus in electric in 2 weeks. Toxic hazard. The average wage in Russia is £2,000 to £5,000 a year, depending on region. Okay. Do you think the average Russian lives a better life than the UK, despite earning significantly less or other challenges? Toxic hazard. Yes, I do believe that they live a better life. Now, that's a sweeping statement because it's a generalised question. But really, I'm talking about my personal view from down here in the south, and I can categorically say that here you would live a better life, purely because the cost of living is significantly less. Yes, your wages are less, but so is the cost of living. And also, the way Russia is set up is that for the basics, like water and gas and electric and that sort of thing, it's all capped to make sure that it's kept at a low price so that everybody can afford it. That's the theory. There's always an exception to a rule. We're the largest country in the world and a population of 160 million, is it? Something like that. But yes, I would say. Right, Nico, I'm screwed. Right, now I'm going to break your heart now. Please don't tell me your gas bill is less than £50 a month. Oh dear, well, let's start with that. It's 85 pence, my gas bill for last month. 85 pence for the month. Not per unit, not per day, the month. Electricity bill was dearer though. Electricity bill was about £35. But been running air conditioning and a swimming pool, so it's hardly surprising. Oh, and we've had a few nights in the sauna as well. It's no real surprise, but yeah, £35 for electric, 85 pence for gas. So Nico, yes you are. Natalia, hi. I see it's cloudy in Anapa today. Here in St. Petersburg it's raining. Well, as always, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? SPB's got the same sort of weather as Britain, and I don't miss that. So, yeah, much as I will go to St. Petersburg, I've got no desire to live there because I just love the weather down here. You know, yeah, once you've experienced summers down here, it's very, very difficult to see the appeal of living anywhere else, really. The MiG-96. I would beg to differ. UK has lost freedom of speech, unfortunately. Nobody can speak their mind without repercussions. I agree. Yeah, I don't have that problem here, despite what the media might tell you. Does look very Russian. Okay. Few quid. No, Toxic. I'd be gutted if it was a few quid. Saw you in Sheffield. Okay. I think my dog came from Sheffield. Can't remember. It's up that way. How is aged care in Russia for older people? So Russians are very big on family. So it's very common to find families with their parents, their grandparents, etc., living either in the same house or, a lot of properties have got sort of what we call in the UK a granny annex, or a separate, smaller house. So it's very common to find your parents living with you. So that's much more of a thing. It's much more family orientated here than in the UK, for sure. Aside from that, I don't know about care homes or stuff like that. I don't think that's a thing. I'm sure they've got them, but I'm just not aware of them. Nobody's ever mentioned them, so I'm guessing it's not as big of a thing. In the UK, they're everywhere, aren't they? Why? Well, the first thing you want to do is offload your parents, isn't it? Your grandparents and whatever. You don't want the burden of it, because it's a different culture. But out here, no. And I think they live a fitter life as well. So the older people that I see seem to be a lot more active. You know, the old ladies are walking off down the shops. They just seem to be more active. They seem to get out more. So I think there's a lot of emphasis put on family, and you know, whether it's an expectation or not, I don't know, but I think they just consider it their duty. You know, their parents have looked after them when they were growing up. It's now their turn to look after the parents. I think it's just expected. Sorry, Si. Yeah, I know. Reese, Crispy's cheap. How much did you use it though? How much did I use what? What, the gas or the electric? I mean, electric, we cane it because obviously that thing's running 24/7. We've got a 12 kilowatt sauna, which we use. And then there's 3 air conditioning units in the house, plus obviously everything else that's electric. Gas-wise, it's for cooking, and the heating is on gas. So we obviously haven't had the heating on, because, as I said, most of the time, the weather's lovely. Don't need the heating on. So again, it's another difference. You know, if you've got a very, very temperate climate, like the south of France, you're not putting the heating on for 6 months of the year. Yeah, it's getting ripped off here. Now, interesting. Why is gas so cheap? Because the government don't tax the living daylights out of you. It's, you know, it's readily available. Russia obviously produces an awful lot of gas, so much so that they export to the rest of the world, including the European Union, although they deny it. And I think even America buys resources from Russia. So, yeah. But yeah, create a lot of it. Natalia, our depression season is coming. Dostoevsky mood. Oh. Well, I suppose if you live down here and it's sunny and then winter comes, it's like, But our lifestyle just changes come the winter. We just spend more time in the sauna. So, you know, in the summer it's this thing in front of you, and in the winter we go in the sauna. Now, interesting, how did you get there? Well, got on a plane, ended up in Sochi, got a train from Sochi to Anapa. That was the second time. First time we got on a plane and flew to Moscow. Is that what you mean? Do I work? No, I don't. No, and that's another thing. That's another reason. If I was in the UK, I'd still be working, be busting me nuts, working till I died. And that wouldn't have been long, I wouldn't have thought. Let's turn you around. What's the temp like? Similar to southern Spain? No, it's the same as the south of France. Same climate. So today it's about 25, I think, 25 degrees today. Mark Wilson, good question. What are 3 negative things about living in Russia? Okay, well, that's a very general question, because obviously I can't comment on all of Russia. I can only comment on, you know, my own experience. I'm not going to bullshit you about what it's like to live in St. Petersburg, other than I led to believe that the weather's the same as in Britain. Apart from that, I don't know. So 3 negative things through my eyes. Price of cars, 1. Always my bugbear. Price of cars. Missing friends and family. But, you know, that was a conversation that we all had. And technology keeps you together. So, you know, aside from the physical contact. But what's the third? Not speaking the language. It's not really a negative, because I haven't learnt it. But it's just very difficult. It's a very, very difficult language. Very difficult. Second, I believe, second most difficult language. Don't know. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me that Swahili is more difficult or something, but it's a very, very difficult language. So that would probably be a negative. But the caveat to that is, what the hell do you expect? If you move to Russia and they speak Russian, can't really call it a negative, can you? The negative is that I've got to learn the language. But, you know, that just means putting some work in, doesn't it? Trying to get my brain to work, which is very difficult. It doesn't like working anymore. In fact, I find work, the use of the word, quite distressing. Been there, done that. Bought the t-shirt, didn't like it. So, do you speak Russian? I've answered the question. No, I understand bits. I can read Russian very slowly. You know, I can say the basics, speak the basics, but it's a difficult language. What's the 3 favourite things? Mark Wilson. Good. See, opposite to opposite, like that. 3 favourite things. The people, straight away. Russian people. They're lovely. Can't put it any other way. My interactions with Russians has been 99.9% positive. The weather and the culture, the level of respect that people have for each other and their property and that sort of thing. Again, I'm not speaking about all of Russia. Somebody's going to say, oh, there's a gangster in Yakutsk that's terrible. I don't know. But, you know, my experience, I haven't seen any crime since I've been here. None. Not even road rage. Nothing. You know, the place is tidy. People have respect. Kids are kids. They'll always drop rubbish, won't they? Let's face it. But generally, you know, it's clean, it's tidy. Things like, I was walking past the shop the other day with the missus, and I said, I should film this, because this is this tells you what Russia is. And the shop had outside all the display of like building materials and stuff like that, you know, like tiles and block paving blocks and stacks of wood and all of this sort of stuff. And it's not just put out every day, it's just out all the time. So overnight, when the shop's shut, it's still out there. Why? Because people don't steal it. And it's the same when you drive out, you know, from here to Novorossiysk or something. There's 2 or 3 timber yards where they've got, you know, all the timber just sat out. You know, it's not fenced off. There's no security. It's in the middle of nowhere. You could rock up in a lorry and just help yourself. But they don't do that, because, you know, that's just wrong. Why would you, you know, it's literally, why would you do that? Whereas in the UK, you couldn't leave. And the same with, like, your workmen, when they come around to your house, or they go to a building site, they just leave all the tools there. Cars are left open. You know, it takes a lot. When you come from the UK, where you're locking and bolting everything away, it takes a lot to get your head around the fact you don't have to here. You know, you can leave your phone on the dashboard of your car, and you can leave your car unlocked and go off for dinner and come back and your phone will still be there. It might be a bit hot in the sun, but it will still be there. And that's, you can't begin to explain to somebody how freeing that is, how liberating that is, and how nice it is. But the mentality is, you know, when you say, oh, somebody would steal it, they look at you and it's like, why would somebody do that? Why? You know? So, yeah, there's just 3 very simple examples, I think. Blaine Wilson, hi, mate, from Gareth in Belfast today. Gareth? Is that a town? Lovely, Paul. I'm currently doing a oil to gas conversion in Slemish, Northern Ireland. Wow. Oil to gas. Yeah, I know. Some people go the other way, don't they? But the price of oil now. When I used to buy heating oil for my business, and it started going up way too much. Banshee dude, I'm in USA. Only thing I'd buy from Russia is a wife. Well, Banshee, that's why you're stuck in the US with no life. Dos Vidania. Now, interesting. I mean, how did you get there? Like a visa, etc. Was it easy? Is it just taking your savings over there and retiring? I mean, it depends on how much savings you got. It depends how long you want to retire for. I guess, you know, that's a choice for the individual. But yeah, I mean, Russia has an immigration process, and you just follow it. I won't say it's easy, I won't say it's hard, it's just straightforward. You know, here are the rules, these are the requirements, match the two, crack on. If you're moving, you know, thinking about it from the UK, have a look on my channel. There are 3 videos that I've done. I think they're titled something like, say you want to move to Russia, something like that. There's part 1, part 2 and part 3, and it just details what documents you need. And once you've done what I've said in the videos, it's a straightforward process. Yeah, so it's not as challenging as everybody makes out. Definitely not. Si, what's the internet like there? Could I work remotely? The internet is better here than it is in the UK. Fact. So case in point, I'm live streaming to you at the moment from my garden on mobile internet. I'm not on Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi runs out about here. So I can't actually do this on Wi-Fi because it no worky. Got a mole. Look. That's why the cats sit up here, hoping to get themselves a little snack. But yeah, house is down there. So yeah, I'm on mobile, and Wi-Fi is, I don't know, what's Mbps? Megabytes per minute, is it, or something? Megabytes per second? I don't know, we get 100, but we're on just cheap internet. We're not on, I don't use internet, I don't work from home, so we haven't got an expensive optical internet thingy, but we're on 100, whatever that means. For us, it means that everything works, so that's all I worry about. But I'm live streaming on mobile, like I say, just so that I can wander about, because I tend to wander about. Internet is okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are areas where it might not be great, but it's not for me. Mark Wilson, thanks for the negatives. Pleasure. Reese Krispies, don't they roll out the red carpet with translators everywhere like the UK? No, funnily enough. That's probably one thing that people from the UK won't be used to, because we have this real bad attitude where we expect the world to speak English. Brits are famous for it. Going to Spain or France or wherever, sitting in a restaurant and speaking English to the waiter. We've all done it, and we just expect everyone to speak English. You know, even you go to Egypt, everybody speaks English, don't they? All the waiters, you know. And that's our attitude. Well, everybody should speak English. Russia doesn't subscribe to that. So the funny thing is, if you come to Russia, there's a language here, it's called Russian. You need to learn it. Or you need to figure a way out or a way around. You know, whether you use Google Translate, whether you're fortunate enough to be married to a Russian, like I am, but you have to figure it out. But this is Russia and they speak Russian. Daryl, hi. Chris, it isn't that difficult. Natalia, I'm sorry, it is. It is that difficult. When your brain doesn't work in the conventional way. Mine doesn't. My brain is a problem-solving brain. I'm very good at solving problems. I'm very good at leading teams. Very good at coaching people. There's lots of things that I'm good at. I know what my strengths are. But academia isn't one of them. And books, no. My brain just finds it so tediously boring that it turns off. It's always been the same. You know, when I was at school, you know, going through management training, etc., etc. You know, my brain just goes, ugh, boring, and struggles with it. So it is difficult for me. The problem is we don't have a fixed word order in Russian, so we use cases to understand how things are connected. But you can get to B1 level. Cases are given at A2. Okay. Ultima Lex, that looks like you're a retard. Toxic Hazard. Any abroad holidays planned somewhere in Asia, perhaps? No, mate. No. The benefit of being retired. When you work, all you do really is think about the weekend, if you get a weekend, or the day off at the weekend, or if you can afford to go on holiday at some point, so that you can book it and look forward to it. That's pretty much, I think, life for most people. Certainly that was my experience, you know, for myself and the team that worked with me. Everybody, the 1st of January, everybody was coming in trying to book a holiday throughout the year, because they just wanted to have that to look forward to. And that's the culture, isn't it? Work, 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 scrape by, miserable bloody existence, look forward to a holiday. But when you're retired and when you live, I've got to say, every day feels like holiday here. So I don't look forward to a holiday, because I'm on holiday. My mentality is, this is holiday. You know, this is, you know, when you're a Brit, what do you think about holidays? Usually a Spanish destination, isn't it? Southern France. I mean, everybody goes further afield. I'm not suggesting they're the only places, but effectively you just want some downtime, don't you? You want to go to a nice warm climate, you want a nice swimming pool, nice beach, some nice restaurants, and that's pretty much, you know, the basics. Beyond that, yeah, you got your trips and everything else, but they're your basics. Well, I've got that every single day, so I don't feel inclined to try and book a holiday, because it's not going to be like it is in the UK, where you're working all the time, you know, stress, and you're looking forward to the holiday, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to go on holiday, can't wait. When your holiday is like that every day, going somewhere else isn't going to be, you know, you're going to see some new sights and go, oh wow, that's really cool, but I'm doing that here when we go out for a day. So yeah, I'm not looking to book a holiday, because every day's a holiday. Kurikan, hi. Do you see more non-white people in Anapa? No. Literally the same in the countryside here in the US, only near cities that people can't be trusted. Yeah. Nelly hi. Mary Jan said hi. Natalia. There are so many things to see in Krasnodar, yeah, aren't they? If you can drive around, you can have that holiday feel nearly every day. There you go. You have everything from mountains to parks and the seaside. Yeah, and I've just seen in Krasnodar Park that they've opened up another section in the Cloud Park bit, which is like a giant water feature, which looks pretty cool. Again, you know, how can you ever get bored of Krasnodar Park, Galitsky Park? Could you ever get bored of that? Don't think so. It's amazing, isn't it? And if some of you are wondering what I'm talking about, check out the videos on my channel. The Japanese Garden, Galitsky Park, Krasnodar Park, any of those videos, just go and have a look. It's otherworldly. Absolutely otherworldly. Nelly said hi again. Toxic Hazard. Great mentality. Always on holiday. I love going off to see new cultures, trying to find more obscure destinations. Yeah, I've seen so many people in the UK retire and die shortly after. You know, almost like work was keeping them alive, and I never wanted to be that. I didn't want work to be keeping me alive. The truth is, work was killing me. So getting out of it now feels like I've got a life. Meeting my wife has given me that. I feel like I have a life now, whereas I don't think I ever have, really. You know, I've had good times. I've enjoyed lots of things. I've crammed a lot into my life. I was saying to the wife the other day, when I die, I'll be glad of it because I need the rest. So I've lived a very busy life, but I can honestly say since meeting my wife, I actually feel like I live now. One, because she is extremely tolerant. She's remarkably supportive. If I sit on my arse all day and do nothing other than stare at the phone or stare at the TV, she won't care. You know, I'm not going to get pecked and moaned at. But equally, if she wants to go somewhere or she wants to do something, we'll do it. So, you know, there is always give and take in a relationship. But I can honestly say I feel like I've gained a life since meeting my wife, for sure. So I suppose that's why I've got that mentality now. If I was in the UK, I wouldn't have that mentality. I'd have I've got to go to work again. Oh, the stress. Oh, stress. I have that mentality, which I don't have here. You know, I find myself going to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, which, you know, was unheard of in the UK. One, because I was wound up like a clock spring anyway. So, you know, just couldn't turn off. And two, you'd feel like it was a waste, you know, especially when you're working 10, 12-hour days. You come home, eat your dinner, have a shower, go to bed. You're getting up and going to work, you know. You don't feel like you've had a life, so you end up just trying to do something in the evenings, whether it's, you know, go out for a meal or, you know, go around a mate's house or, you know, watch some TV or do something, because, you know, as soon as you put your head down, you're getting up to go to work. So I suppose having the luxury of not having to do that relaxes me even more. That's what I think anyway. Perth, Western Australia. Clyde, poor Clyde. Never mind, mate. At least you've come out. That's the main thing. At least you took the first step, came out and announced to everybody. Well done. Natalia, I believe we have a much better life and work balance in Russia. I absolutely agree with that, Natalia, based on my experience. You know, most Russians own their own home. Mortgages aren't. I mean, a mortgage in UK, pretty much everybody has a mortgage. It's just a normal thing. Why wouldn't you? Well, out here, it's like, well, why would you? You know, a lot of people have second homes and more. You know, even if you just go to the basics of what the weather's like down here in the south, that's better than the UK. So, you know, just that alone, you know, like I say, and I say it all the time, I couldn't have this lifestyle in the UK. I couldn't afford to have this lifestyle in the UK. Didn't earn enough money, and I was in a good job, in a well-paid job. But I couldn't have this house and a swimming pool in the UK, and a sauna. Just couldn't do it. Didn't earn enough money to do it, so couldn't afford to bloody run a sauna now, electric one anyway. Not in the UK. Christ alive, bills are horrendous. Manpreet Chadar, can you give me a shout out? I'm from India. Just did, Manpreet. Hi from India. Clan Kian Durham. Jesus loves you, brother. Yeah, everyone else thinks I'm a canut. Never mind. Marijan, thank you. You're welcome. Toxic Hazard. What kind of money do you think someone from the UK would need to retire in Russia? Is your current income from pension? So, yeah, I have a private pension. I'm obviously not old enough to have a state pension. I'm not entitled to anything in Russia because I've not contributed to the country, which is exactly how it should be. As for how much you would need, depends what lifestyle you want to live, mate. And it depends where. If you want to live in the centre of Moscow, and you want to own a 3-bedroom apartment and you want to go out for dinner every night, you're going to need a few quid. But it really depends on what lifestyle you want. As with anything, I think the biggest cost is housing. So if you can buy a home outright and not have a mortgage, then your expense really is running a car and food, because utilities are pennies. You know, I mean, what's the point in talking about an 85 pence gas bill? It's just, it's just not even a consideration, is it? Even if you're poor. So, yeah, it really depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to live, how long you plan to live for. But one thing I will say is buying to rent in the UK is a big thing, because rental is more expensive than the mortgage, whereas here it's the other way around. So, people don't really buy to let, sorry. It's just not financially viable. It'll take you 30 years to get your money back. But there are properties for rent, not many. It's not a popular thing. But there are properties to rent, because obviously the gain still is the increase in the property value over a few years. But you certainly don't make any money from the rental. Thank you for the shout out, man. Preet, you're welcome. Alexander, yeah, what's up, Doc? Bless you, same here. Good question. Toxic hazard. Yeah, that's, like I say, that's, you have an opportunity right now, wherever you are in the world, to ask a question from an English guy living 50 miles from Crimea, technically in a war zone, according to the Western media. I should be dodging missiles and bullets and all sorts right now, which I don't. Never say never, I suppose. But yeah, I'm certainly not worried about it. But like I say, you've got an opportunity. If you're curious about life here in Russia, ask. If World War III kicks off, you're on the right side, mate. Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate in the fact that I have seen both sides. So I don't listen to mainstream media anymore, other than to laugh at it and pick holes in it, because it's all lies. Simple as that, guys. It's just fabrication. Constantly. I mean, look at what's the latest one? Drones in Poland. Yeah, Russia has attacked Poland. That was the latest narrative. That's all being run back now, isn't it? Because it's all, but when it first came out, all the press ran with it. Everybody was running with it. I think they're still shouting about it now. But, it's all been, as usual, disproved. And that's time and time and time and time and time again. So what you hear in mainstream media is just a pack of lies. So I don't take any notice of that kind of rubbish. So for me, it's really what my own personal experience is. I can base that. And I can tell you now, based on my own personal experience, this is where I'd rather be. If something goes belly up, if it gets to that point, this is where I'd rather be. Yeah, because I think Britain would be one of the first places to disappear. And that obviously deeply concerns me, because I've got friends and family there. But the reality is the reality. There's nothing I can do about it. But from a tactical perspective, if it came to the point where the button was pressed, tactically, if you wanted to make a statement and you were Russia, it'd be the best country, wouldn't it? It's an island. It's not directly going to affect anybody else country-wise, other than if the ones that keep yapping, going Russia's weak, and Russia can't do this and Russia can't do that, if there is no other solution and Russia feels that it's being threatened, wouldn't that make the best tactical move? One missile, and the UK's gone. I mean, I'm certainly not calling for it, I can assure you of that. But from a tactical perspective, the rest of the world would sit up and take notice, wouldn't they? Not the rest of the world, that's wrong. But the Western mouth yaps, they'd sit up and take notice then if Britain disappeared overnight, wouldn't they? The US, do you think the US would come running to avenge Britain? No, they'd go, ooh, shit, he was serious. Oh, he wasn't bluffing after all. Yeah, and that's what the US would do. They wouldn't be, brothers in Britain, we need to avenge them, blah, blah. There'd be none of that. France, surrender monkeys. That's all you get, isn't it? So from a tactical perspective, like I say, it's not something I'm calling for. I hope that never ever happens, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the first target. Let's not think about it, it's terrible. Love to move. Anonymous. Bye bye, Anonymous. Another one though. See, clown. Deal with them the same way. Ha ha, chortle chortle. Marijan, money transfer is the question. Yep, that's the question. Yeah. There's always workarounds, there's always ways. Yeah. Glenn, really? Renegade. One more stupid comment, and it'll be Dos Ferdania. Kian, UK no chance, mate. Russia will kick our ass, to be honest. I get what you mean. News can't be trusted anymore. No, it cannot be trusted at all, because it is fabrication, it's lies. Pick a headline over the last 3 years and tell me which one's true. Because how many have we seen? You know, Russia's done this, Russia's done that. You know, all of the headlines, all of them, have all been false. And the reason I say that is because they're headlines. So you know straight away, if they're printed in Western media, they're lies. They're not truth. What has been true? Name one headline that you've seen in Western media that's been true over the last 3 years. Because they've all, you know, come out days, weeks, months afterwards to be, oh yeah, no, that was a pack of lies actually. And then they all go quiet about it, don't they? They all shut up about it. They move, you know, if it was true, they'd be banging on about it over and over again, but they bang on about it until, you know, the truth comes out and it starts to be disproved, and then they go quiet and they move on to something else. In my view, the people that print the lies in these newspapers and in Western media, in fact in any media, if it is proven that you have lied, you should be going to court. And you should, if it's then proven that you haven't just made a mistake, but you've actually deliberately lied, you should be going to prison. There shouldn't be any question, because people die based on the lies. Look at Keith Kellogg at the moment. Look at the lies that scumbag comes out with. But, you know, this is another thing with Trump, isn't it? I mean, it's just beyond, it beggars belief that somebody that's in charge of arguably the most powerful country in the world listens to one man, Keith Kellogg, who gets his information from one side. So it just staggers me that they can't compile proper intelligence and understand what's really going on. So Kellogg trots off to Ukraine. Ukraine feeds Kellogg all of the lies about the losses. You know, what's Trump's latest one? Russia is losing more troops than Ukraine. What? It just make yourself look like a complete clown, which he is. He's just of no value anymore. I had high hopes for Trump, I've said it before, but unfortunately, no, he's just a clown. You've just got to watch what he does, ignore what he says, because what he says is just rubbish. It's just nonsense, regurgitated garbage. Anyhow, I'm going to go on a rant there, so let's not. Andre. Trump asked Brazil to go potty. Brazilian confidence against sparks controversy. Okay. Marijan, you support me 100%. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Right, Renegade, you're gone, and you need to learn to spell. Dos Ferdania. Akita Goat, close to the wind. This guy seems pretty down to earth. That's all I am. I'm just a bloke, you know. I've got a YouTube channel. Got over 5,000 subscribers now, which blows my mind. find that truly staggering, and bless every single one of you that has subscribed. It's yeah, it melts my brain when I think about it, so I try not to think about it too much, but I appreciate that. Thank you. But no, I'm just, you know, I've met people and they're like, oh wow, you know, a bit sort of almost starstruck, you know, and I've had that comment that's been made to me, Richard. And I, you know, it kind of makes me feel a bit, because I'm just a bloke. That's all I am. Is, you know, just an ordinary guy whose geography might be different to yours. That's it. I've lived a long, busy life, done a lot in my life, and I'm living my best life now. That's it. Simple as that. So I'm glad I seem down to earth, because I think I am. I try to be. Try to keep my feet on the ground. Jason Freeman, lol, good luck, mate. You're going to need it. Why is that, Jason? Why am I going to need luck, my old kiddie? Because I think luck really is what you make it. So why am I going to need luck? You tell me, Jason. Don't be a bitch. Make some cock-end statement like that without giving actually a definition. Why am I going to need luck? Let's see how much brain you have or haven't. Bloxy Morgan, what's up? I'm also British. Well done. Natalia, the Western elites are in such a dire situation they would follow the general rule: when nothing else works, we are taking slaves to war. They always start a war when in a bad position. Yeah, this is one of the things in Britain at the moment with all of this, you know, unite Britain and fly the flag and all of this. Be very, very careful. Very careful. I haven't seen anybody else say this, and maybe I'm out on a limb, but I do not like it. It is trying to make people patriotic again, and not for the right reason, I believe. I don't think it's about an internal conflict and taking your country back internally. The elites are pushing this, and so's the media. And as soon as they are, you want to be doing the opposite. And they're pushing it. Why? Because they want war. It's what they want. It's where they make money. It's where they get rich. It doesn't affect them. Their sons and daughters don't go off to the front lines, nor do they. They go to Hawaii or Miami or some other holiday destination, sit in the sun on the beach, whilst your sons and daughters go off to war. So that's what they're trying to do. They've talked war for a long time, and now they're trying to drum up support for it and make people patriotic. And they do that by threatening everyone, telling them that Russia's the threat, Russia's going to invade. If we don't fight them now, oh, it's all lies, it's all bullshit. And this raise the flag shit, I don't trust it, I don't like it. Makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. There's something not right about it. It isn't just, it's not just about complaining about immigration. It's far, far more sinister. That's my belief. Tell me about it, mate. Live in an age of disinformation for sure. Newspapers in an old man's game now. The newspaper should be used for swatting a fly, that's it. I wouldn't say wiping your arse on, because, you know, it's probably a bit uncomfortable. But maybe lighting the barbecue. But that's it. It's of no use. The only reason newspapers still exist is you can't swat flies with televisions. So, you know, that's my view. Rock Z, I have no idea what's true in the media. Probably none of it. If it's in mainstream media, I wouldn't believe the date that was printed on the newspaper. Because, for a start, everything is Putin's fault. Putin done it. Whatever it is, Putin's fault. Putin done it. The one that I always remember is there was a lorry hijacked in Britain, and it was full of cheese. And I think it was the Sun. Wouldn't surprise me. One of them ran with the fact that it was Putin. Putin had orchestrated this hijacking. Go and look it up. I'm not making this up. Type it into Google. Cheese hijacked in Britain, Putin's fault. You know, type it something into Google, do a bit of research, you'll see it. And yeah, they were spinning it that the lorry had been hijacked, and that was Russia. That was Putin's fault that had caused it. He'd instigated that. What? So, when you see stuff like that, you just can't believe anything that comes out of mainstream media. You cannot. It is just manipulation and lies. That's all it is. It is nothing else. It's not news. It is a narrative. It is manipulation. It's not news. Kian, 24 from the UK, and I want to move to the moon. Phew. It's a whole other story, that one. Natalia, the US will most likely reset their mega debt through crypto in the next few years. It will cause a general collapse of the system. Yeah, again, I've been saying this for years. There's a few things I've been saying about crypto for years. One, Bitcoin was created by the US government. I believe that. Two, the lawsuit against XRP is an audit. I believe that. Three, the US government wanted the escrow for XRP because if you got the escrow from XRP, you could reset your debt very, very cheaply, which is what you're talking about, Natalia. And four, Jeff Bezos is a disguised whale. If you're into crypto, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you'll think I've gone mad. Let's leave it at that. I think we in Australia is never good, to be honest. Rock Z, yes. In my view, yes. You know, I'm looking at the swimming pool right now. Quite happy, mate. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a rich person by any stretch. Far from it. Far from it. But I can have a good life here. I might go in my sauna later. Yeah. So, yes, I believe so. The people are wonderful. The culture is amazing. It's clean, it's tidy. Respectful. It's hardly any crime. Unemployment next to zero. Homeless next to zero. Yeah. Depends what metrics you measure good by, I suppose. But, you know, for me, I want myself and my family to be able to live in comfort and safety. I want them to be able to eat good quality food. I want them to live in a nice climate, in amongst good people. So if that's your metric, yeah, Russia is a good place to live. Chris, you better not listen to Trump's speeches or you'd get a bipolar disorder. Yeah, well, the thing with Trump is you must always remember, don't listen to what he says, just watch what he does. Because, as I've always said, the guy throws, what we say, shit against the wall, but in multiple directions to see what sticks. And then he goes with whatever sticks. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, yes. Been a bit quiet of late, sorry. Just wanted to pop out and see what that was. The Shah of Iran said hi. Red Sun Survivors Council, Dos Vidania, you're a goon. Dum da dum. Shah of Iran is he? Oh, never mind. He's gone as well, he's another goon. That's how we deal with trolls. Can't be bothered to try and educate them because they're too thick to be educated. Roxy, there are Australians living in Russia. They have YouTube channels. Like, yeah. Then there's Natashenska. And the farmers too. Little Hazy, stop the boats. Okay. Great. Mickey Anderson. Close to the wind, my friend. John's Adventures. Funny thought. I'm straight, but... yeah. Seems to be a lot of projection, isn't there? You notice this? All these trolls seem to be projecting about a particular topic. Just saying. I don't know why they think that that's going to offend me. Roxy, Oh wow, I had no idea. Thanks for educating me. Yeah, Roxy, there are a lot of Aussies over here actually. There are quite a few. Stomping about, chatting fairy liquid, man. I don't know. Alphonse Luciano, you England. I'll assume that English isn't your first language, so I won't sort of berate you. I'm English, but I'm not in England. So hopefully that answers your question. Roxy is still in touch with the common. I am the common man. That's the thing. I just happen to have retired from work, but I was, my industry was manual labour. I wasn't in finance or property development or any of that crap where you're making a load of money. I was just a guy that worked with ease. I did well for myself in the industry that I was in, but through hard work. So yeah, I'm still in touch with the common man because that's who I am. Love from Michigan, USA. Thank you, Buffalo Pez. Buffalo Pez? I'll have a stab. Mensch. Stop the genocide. I agree. Sean, yes, mate. Ricky. Yeah. God, yeah. Watched every single fight of his. Yeah. His career didn't end on a high. But he was so entertaining to watch. He was absolute. It's lovely to see that kind of tactician, somebody that was a body puncher. And that's what Ricky was. He was savage. He broke people up. And unfortunately, the Mayweather fight for him was his turning point, really. And Pac-Man, obviously. But, I think when he fought Costa Tzu, that was a fight, wasn't it? That was a proper fight. And what was Costa at the time? Pound for pound, was he? Number one? So, yeah, it was, incredibly young age, wasn't it? I think 46, Ricky Hatton. It's no age, is it, really? But, I don't know what the cause of death was. It's speculation that I haven't seen, I haven't looked into it because, I don't really want to look into it, to be honest. The guy's gone. But he did like a drink. And, we all like a drink, but he really liked to drink, didn't he? Unfortunately, I think people put that to bed a little bit too late. Probably we all need to think about the poison that we stick in our bodies at times. But, yeah, what a shame. I agree with that. Rest in peace, mate. He was a gentleman. He was a down-to-earth. I think that's why he was loved so much, because he was just a normal guy. No airs or graces. Very, very funny guy. And just, a happy chatter, wasn't he? We're all brothers, man, regardless of location. Trust yourself, love your neighbour. Yeah, it's a good thing to live by. Ian, your viewpoint would be more believable if Russia didn't have bots disseminating lies 24/7. Okay, Ian. What's your evidence for that? I'm guessing it's probably Western media that's told you that. Have you actually got evidence of that? I'm sure you're going to quote something, but Ian, I don't really care if you believe me or not. It's not why I do this. The reason I do YouTube is to show part of Russia that most people won't see, because you're going to see Moscow, pretty much. That's what most people's idea of Russia is, and that's not Russia. That's just, that's the city, that's the capital. But that's the purpose, for me to just show you. Answer any questions as honestly as I can, but show you blue skies. They are coming. Look, waiting for the cloud to sort of blow over, and then we'll be a nice sunny day here again. And yeah, let you make your own mind up. I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion or viewpoint, but if you make a statement like that, mate, you're too far gone. I don't think you know, I don't think you can be educated, because if you're making those sort of statements this far into the current situation, then you've just been brainwashed, and you're not going to do any independent research. You are just going to be buried deep in the mainstream media narrative, which is a shame, mate. But it ain't my life, it ain't my problem. I know who's sitting next to a swimming pool eating peaches off of the tree. It ain't you. Rip Hulk Hogan. Well, that was a while ago. Hi, what's up, man? Sky, clouds, trees, birds, big houses, apartment blocks, rockets, space, moon, stars, satellites, to name but a few. Michael Burrows, how are you? I'm pretty good, mate. Pretty good. Nice and chilled, nice and relaxed. Taking it easy. Got a new video dropping tomorrow afternoon, because I do get accused of being a Putin puppet and a Putin propagandist. I understand why, because, you know, if something's too good to be true, you know, all of that kind of crap. But if you look at my live streams, my walk and talks when I go wandering around the village, I show the good, the bad and the ugly. You know, I don't deliberately seek out something bad or deliberately seek out something good. I just show you, you know, where I'm walking and what I'm seeing. Make your own mind up. But I do get that, you know, the sky's blue, the sun's shining, I'm walking around with usually no shirt on, in and out the swimming pool. You know, I'm making life look good. But I'm not making life look good. I'm showing you what life is. The fact that it looks good, what can I do about that? But that said, tomorrow's video is a little bit different. So have a look out for it. Subscribe to the channel, get the notification. 2 o'clock Moscow time tomorrow. Have a look at a video for a little bit of a difference. Buffalo Lopez, I'd love to visit. Love from Michigan. You have to visit, that's the thing. You have to visit. And you guys, you know, if you're in the US, you get a 3-year visa. So it's very easy for you guys. You've just got to get a 3-year visa. You haven't even got a complete TRP, temporary residency. You just apply for a visa. Us in the UK, you know, it's 3 months. Or if you're on a family visa or spousal visa, it's a year maximum. But then you can only be in the country for 90 days, I think, or something. There's all sorts of restrictions that you guys don't have. So, you know, if you're in the US, you haven't really got an excuse other than applying for a visa. Try hard. May the blessed and immaculate Virgin Mother, blah, 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 blah. Yep, okay. Patriotic posts. His career didn't end on a high, but he 100% did. What a legend. Yeah, do you know what? I'll agree with that. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah. Yeah, his career didn't end on a high, but it was a good career. You know, it was a good career. And unfortunately, boxing, you know, one shot and it changes the course of your career, doesn't it? Just one. That's all it takes. Yeah, I mean, would he have beat Mayweather? Well, he didn't. So that's that. And that, unfortunately, was the defining moment. Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. But, you know, his career was... You can't argue with his career, can you? It's a hell of a career. And, yeah, he died, I think, being true to himself, didn't he? So, yeah, gentlemen. Western media is cancer. Not all of us Americans are ignorant. I apologise for our government. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, to be honest. So, yeah, I find myself apologising a lot in Russia when I meet new people. You know, I'm from England. I'm sorry. But, yeah, no, the Russians don't think like we do. They think differently. They're not wired like we are. The indoctrination has its roots so deep in today's civilization like never before in human history. People these days are mere mirrors of what they've been fed with by their media and political leaders. Most people, yeah, most people have lost the ability of critical thought. You know, I will always be open to being told that I'm wrong about something, or shown something different. I'm always open to that, and if that ever happens, then I absolutely will go, oh, okay, fair enough. No, I hold my hands up. I got that wrong. But I try not to make statements without sort of having an understanding of what I'm saying. But yeah, certainly, mainstream media in the West is systemic brainwashing, and when you control the narrative, it's very difficult for people to get the true picture, and most people don't have the time. They're too busy going to work to pay bills, so they don't have time like I do. They don't have 3 or 4 hours a day every day to be able to sit in the media, an independent media, and find out the source of stories and headlines, and find out the actual truth. They don't get that. They get a 10-minute snapshot when they come home from work in between a shower and dinner, and they'll catch the news. So if that's their only source of information, yeah. But you've got to decide in your head that that doesn't sound right. I don't believe that. Or even if you've got a bit of doubt, you should go and research it and find out. Jim H, I bet you are. Galactic contradiction. Do you want a mind-boggling question? As long as it's not something stupid like which came first, the chicken or the egg, or if the universe is constantly expanding, why isn't the Earth getting bigger, or some other stupid nonsense. Clint Eastwood, he was a voice of reason for the majority that can't speak in a peaceful discussion on campuses and cities, etc. anymore. I think you're talking about Charlie, aren't you? Everybody that speaks the truth seems to pay for it, unfortunately. Well, the truth will always out, but you always find that the liars are always the most evil people. And they're the ones that have the evil thoughts, aren't they? The liars and the indoctrinated, they're the worst people of society. If civil war came to be, would it be against the left and the right, or the right and the far right? There is no left and right and far left and centre, and it's all bullshit. It's just bad people with bad policies, and good people with good policies. Left and right, far left, it's all a blur now. Doesn't mean anything. Clint Eastwood, that's what I'm getting at, yeah. Orange Cat, hey, horses eat it, mate. Same as the greats like Bobby Fischer. Okay. Keep talking, mate. I'm almost finished. Okay, Jaden. Jayden. Jay. Sounds very much like gay. Dos Vidania. Cat, are you Russian? Such an English accent. Yeah, I've got an English accent because I'm English. Joseph, has it? Great, wonderful. Anyhow, guys, it's nice. I've caught up with the chat, which is always a good thing. Hope you enjoy your day. I'm going to get on with mine now. Now the sun's coming out, look. I might go in that thing. Might have a little swim. But thanks for joining me, just on my morning rant about taxes. And I don't mean the taxes that you get in when you're pissed on the way home. I mean about the taxes that you pay to your government. So just to recap, we've had our land tax, property tax for 2 houses, and a car tax bill in, and the total bill for both bits of land, both houses, and the car tax for the year is £65 here in Russia. My gas bill is 85 pence. And my electricity bill for the month is £35. Bearing in mind, I'm running a swimming pool, a 12 kilowatt sauna and 3 air conditioning units. So there we are. That's a quick recap of... Hello, Mr. Lizard. Cat's had him, he's got no tail, look. What's she doing? He's off. Let's leave him alone. Goodbye. Information not available. Thanks, Kusman. Right, very quickly, let's catch up. Go back to Africa, not in Africa. Yeah, I'm here in America. I try my best to operate out of love. It's insane how many believe the narrative they run. Yes, mate, unfortunately it is. We're ready to fight for these islands, princess. Okay. Oh, you're an expat. Can't stand that. Hello, sir. The weather changes so fast in south. I love it. Yeah, well, it doesn't, does it? It's usually this. This is what the weather's usually like. But we've had a couple of days of changeable weather because it's that time of year. Kat, I subscribed and liked. Thank you, Kat. That's very nice of you. Does help. I appreciate that. There we go. That's it. We're up. So that's it. Do svidania. I'm out of here. Paka. Arrivederci. Tschüss. Ciao. Whatever else. Can't remember what German was. Auf Wiedersehen. There we go. Thanks for joining me. I'm off to enjoy my day. Make sure you do the same. Don't believe the mainstream media. It's all a bunch of lies. Do a bit of independent research. Live your best life. See you in the next one.